Aiden crouched low behind the crumbling remains of a rusted car, his heart pounding in his chest as he scanned the desolate streets of what was once New York City. The air was thick with dust, mingling with the acrid scent of decay, remnants of a world long gone. Jagged buildings loomed overhead, their shattered windows like dark eyes watching him. In this harsh landscape, survival was a daily battle, and today was no different. He was part of a small community that had formed amidst the chaos, a ragtag group of survivors who banded together in a world turned hostile. They called themselves the Haven, a name filled with irony, as there was little safe about their existence. Aiden had learned to navigate this broken city with keen instincts, and today he was scavenging for food and supplies. With the last remnants of their garden wilting away, the pressure to find something, anything, was greater than ever. As he peered around the car, Aiden's eyes landed on a nearby storefront, its glass shattered and the sign barely legible. It read apothecary. Maybe there was something useful inside, he thought. Steeling himself, he slipped out from behind the car, his movements cautious and deliberate. Each step echoed with the weight of desperation. The door creaked ominously as he pushed it open, the sound almost deafening in the silence. Aiden stepped inside, the dim light filtering through the broken windows casting eerie shadows across the debris-laden floor. Shelves once filled with medicine and herbs now lay in disarray, overtaken by dust and time. He rummaged through the wreckage, his fingers brushing against empty bottles and scraps of paper, his heart sinking with each unpromising discovery. Just as he was about to give up, something caught his eye, a glint of metal beneath a pile of rubble. Digging through the debris, Aiden unearthed a small, intricately designed box. Its surface was etched with symbols he didn't recognize, but it felt oddly significant. His curiosity piqued, he pried it open, revealing a collection of strange, shimmering crystals. A faint light pulsed from within them, captivating him. "What did you find?" a voice broke through the silence. Aiden spun around to see Lila, a fierce and resourceful member of the Haven, stepping cautiously into the room. She had a way of appearing when he least expected it, often in search of her own treasures. Her dark hair was tied back, and her eyes held a mix of curiosity and caution. "I don't know," Aiden replied, holding the box up for her to see. "It looks like some kind of tech, maybe pre-collapse. But I don't know how to use it." Lila stepped closer, her expression shifting from skepticism to intrigue. "We should take it back. If it's functional, it might help us." Aiden nodded, the weight of the box heavy in his hands. Just then, the distant sound of shouting and gunfire echoed through the streets, jolting them both to attention. "Raiders," Lila whispered, eyes wide. "We need to go, now." Adrenaline surged through Aiden as he tucked the box under his arm, and they rushed back toward their community, the thrill of discovery overshadowed by the looming threat. As they navigated the rubble, Aiden couldn't shake the feeling that this box might be more than just an artifact. It could be the key to their survival or their doom. In a world where hope was a fragile thing, he was determined to uncover its secrets. But first they had to make it home. The underground facility was hidden beneath the crumbling remnants of an old subway station, long forgotten in the chaos of the surface world. Aiden and Lila descended the narrow staircase, the air growing cooler and damp as they stepped into the dimly lit corridor. Flickering emergency lights cast eerie shadows on the concrete walls, remnants of a time when this place had been bustling with life. "What do you think we'll find down here?" Lila asked, her voice barely above a whisper, a mix of excitement and trepidation evident in her tone. "I don't know," Aiden replied, gripping the box tightly. "But whatever it is, it could change everything." As they moved deeper into the facility, the walls began to display strange markings, symbols intertwined with what looked like old-world tech diagrams. Aiden's heart raced. This was the world before, the world that had once thrived, filled with innovation and possibility. They passed through a heavy metal door, which creaked open at their touch, revealing a large, circular room at the center of the facility. In the center stood a massive console, covered in a thick layer of dust. Monitors flickered to life as they approached, illuminating the space with a ghostly glow. Aiden could hardly believe his eyes. This place was a treasure trove of knowledge, a remnant of humanity's greatest achievements. "Look at this," Lila exclaimed, pointing at a series of screens that displayed charts and data about environmental recovery, renewable energy sources, and advanced agriculture techniques. "This is incredible." Aiden stepped closer, mesmerized by the information unfolding before him. It was a blueprint for survival, an answer to the struggles they faced on the surface. But amidst the excitement, a nagging doubt crept into his mind. "But how do we use any of this? It looks like it hasn't been touched in decades. Maybe we can find a way to activate it, Lila suggested, her eyes gleaming with determination. If we could get the power running, we might unlock its secrets. Aiden nodded, fueled by her enthusiasm. They set to work, rummaging through nearby drawers and cabinets in search of anything that could help them power the console. As they searched, the tension of their surroundings began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of hope. Hours passed as they pieced together broken wires and salvaged batteries. Aiden's fingers trembled with anticipation as he finally connected the last wire. "This is it," he said, glancing at Lila. "Ready?" "Let's do it," she replied, her voice steady. With a deep breath, Aiden pressed the main button on the console. The screens flickered violently before settling into a steady glow. A low hum filled the room, and suddenly, a holographic display projected above the console, showcasing a vibrant image of Earth, lush and green, thriving with life. "Unbelievable," Lila breathed, awestruck. The display zoomed in on various regions, demonstrating sustainable practices that had revitalized ecosystems. As they absorbed the information, a voice broke through the quiet. "Welcome. You have accessed the Earth Restoration Project?" Startled, Aiden stepped back. "Did it just talk?" "Yes," Lila said, her eyes wide. "It must be an AI. This is incredible." The AI continued, detailing how to implement the technologies necessary for ecological recovery. Hope surged within Aiden as he realized the implications. They had stumbled upon a means to not only survive but thrive. But before they could celebrate, a distant rumble echoed through the facility. The ground shook slightly and the monitors flickered again. Aiden's heart sank. They weren't alone. The raiders had found them and time was running out. "Lila, we need to move," Aiden urged, adrenaline coursing through him. They had to protect this knowledge at all costs. As they raced back toward the exit, Aiden clutched the box tightly, aware that the future of their community depended on what they had discovered. Aiden and Lila burst out of the underground facility, their hearts racing. The familiar streets of the crumbling city now felt alien, shadows stretching longer as the sun dipped below the horizon. They sprinted toward the haven, the weight of their discovery pushing them forward even as the distant sounds of chaos echoed behind them. "Did you see the data?" Lila gasped, glancing back. "If we can implement those techniques, we might be able to rebuild everything." Aiden nodded, but his mind was clouded with worry. "That's if we can get back safely. The raiders are after us." As they navigated the debris-strewn streets, they spotted their home in the distance, a cluster of makeshift structures that had been fortified over time. They reached the entrance just as the first raiders appeared at the far end of the alley, weapons drawn and eyes glinting with greed. "Get inside," Aiden shouted, shoving Lila through the makeshift door. He followed closely, slamming it shut behind them and barring it with an old metal beam. The community was gathered in the central area, their faces painted with concern. "What happened?" Maya, the community strategist, demanded, stepping forward. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Worse," Aiden said, catching his breath. "We found a hidden facility with advanced technology, how to restore the environment. But the raiders know we're here and they'll come for it." A murmur spread through the crowd, a mixture of fear and hope. Maya's brow furrowed. "We need a plan. We can't let them take what you've discovered. This is our chance to change everything. Can we defend against them?" Lila asked, her voice trembling. "They outnumber us." Aiden's mind raced. They couldn't afford to lose what they had found. "We can use the facility's tech as a distraction. If we create a noise that draws them away, we can secure the knowledge and fortify our defenses." Maya nodded, her expression resolute. "We can set traps around the perimeter and use old-world fireworks as a diversion. It might buy us some time." With a sense of urgency, the community sprang into action. Aiden felt a surge of adrenaline as they gathered supplies, working together in a flurry of activity. Lila, now driven by a fierce determination, organized the defenses, while Aiden and a few others crafted makeshift explosives from the old fireworks. As night fell, the atmosphere thickened with tension. The faint sounds of raiders creeping closer could be heard, a reminder of the looming threat. Aiden took a moment to step away from the chaos, finding a quiet corner to catch his breath. The box containing the crystals sat beside him, a silent promise of hope amid the turmoil. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the night, followed by the unmistakable sound of voices. Raiders had arrived. Aiden's heart raced as he grabbed the box, rushing back to the center of the community. "They're here," he shouted, rallying everyone. "Get ready." The tension reached its peak as the raiders stormed toward the haven, their shouts mingling with the distant sounds of the fireworks set to ignite. Aiden's hands trembled, a mixture of fear and resolve. He could see their silhouettes approaching, menacing and wild, desperate for what they believed was theirs. With a deep breath, Aiden turned to his community. We fight for our future. We protect what we've found. Remember, this isn't just about us. It's about everyone who needs this chance. As the fireworks exploded in a brilliant display overhead, the raiders hesitated, momentarily distracted by the colors lighting up the sky. Aiden seized the moment, signaling his group to prepare. The struggle for tomorrow had begun, and he was determined to protect the legacy of Earth they had uncovered. The chaos of battle erupted around the haven as the raiders, stunned by the fireworks, hesitated. Aiden seized the moment, rallying his community. Now, we stand together, he shouted, voice steady despite the turmoil. With renewed courage, the members of the haven took their positions, armed with makeshift weapons and a fierce determination. Aiden glanced at Lila, who stood ready beside him, her expression resolute. They had come too far to back down now. The raiders quickly regained their composure, anger propelling them forward. Aiden's heart raced as he positioned himself near the entrance, prepared to defend their home. The first wave crashed against the barricade, and he felt the ground tremble beneath their force. Hold the line. Maya shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. She moved with purpose, directing their defenses, using her strategic mind to anticipate the raiders' moves. Aiden felt a surge of gratitude for her leadership. As the raiders broke through, Aiden and Lila fought side by side, their movements fluid and coordinated. Each strike felt like a battle for their future, a fight for the knowledge they had uncovered. The chaos blurred around them, but Aiden remained focused, driven by a singular purpose. Moments turned into an eternity, and just when it seemed the raiders might overwhelm them, a new sound erupted from the facility, a low, pulsing hum that grew louder. The AI they had awakened flickered to life on the screens, projecting its voice into the fray. Initiating defensive protocols. Please take cover. The ground shook as panels slid open, revealing hidden mechanisms within the facility. A barrage of energy pulses shot into the air, illuminating the night and scattering the raiders. Confusion rippled through their ranks as they struggled to comprehend the sudden shift in power. Aiden looked to Lila, who met his gaze, eyes wide with disbelief. Is this part of the tech? She shouted over the noise. It must be. Aiden replied, feeling hope surge within him. It's protecting us. With renewed energy, Aiden and his community pressed forward. The raiders, caught off guard by the unexpected defense, began to falter. Aiden could see fear creeping into their eyes as the projections danced in the night, disorienting them. Push them back. Maya called, her voice ringing with authority. The community surged forward, reclaiming their ground. Aiden fought alongside Lila, each swing of their makeshift weapons a testament to their determination. Finally, with a final push, the raiders turned and fled, retreating into the shadows of the night. A hush fell over the haven as they stood victorious, breathless, and bewildered. The reality of what they had achieved began to sink in. Aiden surveyed the faces of his friends, each one a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. We did it, he breathed, disbelief mingling with joy. We actually did it. Lila's face broke into a grin. This was just the beginning. We have the technology to change everything. We can rebuild. The community erupted in cheers, the weight of fear lifting as they celebrated their hard-won victory. Aiden felt a sense of unity he hadn't known before, a bond forged in struggle and resilience. As dawn approached, casting a warm glow over the remnants of their battle, Aiden stood at the center of the haven, the box still clutched in his hands. The crystals inside shimmered, reflecting the first light of a new day. He understood now that their fight wasn't just about survival, it was about hope, about restoring what had been lost. Aiden turned to his friends, his heart swelling with pride. This is our chance to be the stewards of Earth, he said, voice strong. We will not just survive, we will thrive. Together, we will create a future that honors the legacy of our past. With that, the community gathered around him, united by a shared vision. As the sun rose higher, they looked out upon the city, not with despair but with determination. The journey ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in a long time, Aiden felt a deep, unshakable belief in their future. The dawn of a new era had begun.